we're going to go through this together, which is going to drive some styles crazy because they like to go through it on their own quickly. So don't start yet, okay? Don't start. I don't want you to start until we all get started at the same time. So we're going to go through this, and at the end we'll take the results and we'll figure out which style you are, okay? It's in English, and so we're going to go slowly. And if there's something you don't understand, you're going to raise your hand so we can talk about it in Burmese, and so you understand what's going to happen. And the way this assessment works is you're given two statements, and you have to pick one or the other. And you have to pick the one that's most like you at work, the one that sounds most like you. Sometimes they both sound like you. Sometimes neither of them sounds like you. You just pick the one that sounds most like you. And don't spend too much time thinking. The first one that comes to your mind, that's the one you're going to circle. Okay? Don't do an analysis of this. My process people in the room are going to go crazy because I'm asking them to go fast. But I want you to pick quickly the one that sounds most like you. So it could be like we were yesterday. Are you more like a donkey or are you more like a goat? And you would circle A for donkey or B for goat. Okay? So we're going to wait. We'll start in a minute as soon as everybody has one in front of them. There's these four communication styles. These are kind of something that happen in all cultures, right? This is not just in this part of the world or another part of the world. These four communication styles are across cultures. You cannot change other people's styles. I know this because I keep trying to change my husband's style, and I can't. He keeps trying to change mine, he can't. And you have to change your communication style so that you can work with others. This is the most important lesson you're going to take out of today. You're going to, at the end of this, you're going to know your style, but you're going to be able to assess the styles of others and to be able to change your style to accommodate them, okay? So, when we're going to do this assessment, remember that there's no right or wrong. Both choices may seem right to you. You're going to pick the one that's most like you at work. And some of the vocabulary words may be unfamiliar, and so then you're going to ask for an explanation. Because if you don't understand, the test results will be wrong, right? And at the end, if you think you're in the wrong category, we'll talk about that. And as I said, so the first one's going to be, I like action, or I deal with problems in a step-by-step way, right? So action would mean I would go right and solve this, or I deal with problems by analyzing, by going through this analysis. So which one would be more like you? So we'll wait, and as soon as we get the extra copies, then we'll start on this. So you would circle, I don't remember if you have A and B, you have 1 and 2, so you would circle either 1 or 2. Yeah.
So Suzanne, is it possible to change your style? Because I've seen many people trying this, but I don't think they are successful. People say that they are trying to change their styles. Everybody says so, But I found out that even though I just want to ask your own experience,
yeah.
You try to change your style according to your husband's style.
Right.
Are you successful?
Actually, yes.
About how many percentage?
Some of the time. Some of the time.
Yeah.
And what it really helps me, for example, let me give you a good example. We needed to buy a new car, right? And my car was 13 years old, and I said to my husband, this car is going to stop working very soon, so we need to buy a new car. And I know my husband's style, which is a process style. He needs lots of time to think about this. I knew that I had to give him a year to go through all the different cars, to figure out which would be the best car for us to buy and everything. Me, if it had been me, I would have gone out and bought a car, right? So I said to him, okay, so here's the date, here's the time when we have to make a decision. That's because I know his style, right?
Yeah.
I know his style. So, and he will do things like that with me, which he'll say, let's go shopping. And when he shops, he likes to look at all the prices, everything. But he'll say to me, you come with me, we'll go shopping, but we'll only do 1 hour. He says he knows that only 1 hour is what I can take. So you change your style, you can't do it all the time, but you can understand when it's gonna make a difference. At the workplace, what I assess is, how is that person's style and how do I communicate with them? So at the workplace, it's much easier because it's a briefer interaction. I'm not living with these people, right? So I just know if I'm gonna present something to this person, then I have to do it in this certain way.
So you mean changing is something like adjusting, right?
It's adjusting. It's not like I
changing is
I don't
impossible,
change
yeah.
my style. My
Yeah.
style is still there, but I kind of repress my
Yeah.
style and understand that this is gonna be
You give
another.
some chance to them.
For them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
according to their style. Just
According to their
negotiating
style.
and adjusting, right?
Absolutely. So, my husband may not know that I'm doing this, but I am doing this.
Yeah.
And I think he's also doing, and in a good relationship, you do this automatically, right? You start to know each other. But at work, you sometimes think, well, I go to this person and I talk to them and nothing happens. So what happened? You know, you have to analyze your style and think, well, maybe I'm presenting it to them in a way that doesn't work for them. So you don't change your style, you're just more, how would I say, intelligent or thinking about what you're going to do. Yeah? Does this make sense? Yeah. Okay. So the first one is either I like action or I deal with problems in a step-by-step way. Circle one. Number two, I believe that teams are more effective than individuals. I enjoy innovation very much. If there's a word you don't know, raise your hand. I am more interested in the future than in the past. I enjoy working with people. I like to attend well-organized group meetings. Deadlines are important for me. I cannot stand leaving a project until the last minute, meaning just right before it's due. I believe that new ideas have to be tested before they are used. Yeah,
I don't understand this sentence.
which one?
9 and 10.
Oh, I cannot stand leaving projects until the last minute. Let's say that you have something that's due today at 5 o'clock, and you would start working on it last week so that you turn it in on time. Some people wait until the very last minute to do the project, but this person's saying, I don't like waiting until the last minute. I believe that new ideas have to be tested before being used. So let's say you have an innovative idea, but you think, oh, I don't want to just do my innovative idea. Let me test it on a small group of people. Let me try it with a small group of people. Okay, working with other people energizes me, and I'm always looking for new possibilities. I want to set up my own objectives. That means I like to have control over the work that I'm doing. When I start something, I finish it. I go through till the end. I basically try to understand other people's emotions. I do challenge people around me, meaning challenge like they'll say, let's do this, and you'll say, why is that a good idea? Challenging them a little bit, pushing to say, yeah?
What if both of the choices are correct for me?
You have to pick the one that's most correct. You have to pick. I look forward to receiving feedback on my performance. I like people to tell me how I'm doing, or I find the step-by-step approach very effective. I think I'm good at reading people, meaning knowing how people feel. I like creative problem solving. I always consider impact an outcome before making decisions. In other words, before you decide to do something, you think, what's going to happen at the end? What impact will it have? I am sensitive to others' needs. Sensitive to others' needs, meaning that I understand that people are coming in and they may need something at the library. So I'm able to understand needs of people who are coming into the library. I'm sensitive to that. Some people can't read other people, don't understand their needs, but some people can. Planning is key to success. I've become impatient with long deliberations. That means long talks about what we need to do. I am cool under pressure. That means that when it's a very stressful situation, I stay calm. Okay? I value experience very much, meaning that I like to do something and understand it from experience. I listen to people. People say that I am a fast thinker. Cooperation is a key word for me. I use logical methods to test alternatives. That means that I analyze something and figure out all the alternatives before I make a decision. I like to handle several projects at the same time, which means I like to multitask. Or I always question myself. Am I doing a good job? Should I be doing something different? I learn by doing as opposed to by reading. In other words, you like to actually do it. Or I believe that my head rules my heart, that I think with my head instead of my heart. I can predict how others may react to a certain action. So you know you have an innovative idea, you want to present it to your workers, at your colleagues, and you know that some people will say that's good, and some people will say that's not a good idea. You know how they're going to react. I do not like details. So for example, think about you're sitting in a meeting when somebody has financial details and they're going through all the details. Do you like to hear all those details? People should always plan and think ahead before taking action. I'm able to assess the climate of a group. This means that as trainers, when you walk into a room, you can tell, is this group friendly? Is this group not so happy? Is this group mad? You can assess the climate of that particular group. You understand what's going on. I have a tendency to start things and not finish them. I am good at making decisions. I search for challenging tasks, things that are going to be difficult to do. I rely on observation and data to make decisions. In other words, to make a decision, you want to see data and you want to observe. I can express my feelings openly. If you're happy, you're sad, you're angry. I like to design new projects. I enjoy reading very much, or I perceive myself as a facilitator. As a facilitator, meaning that when there's a discussion going on, you help the group have the discussion. You ask questions, you summarize what's going on in the group, you kind of keep the discussion going. I like to focus on one issue at a time. I like to achieve. I enjoy learning about others, or I like variety. I like differences in what I do. I think that facts speak for themselves. That means that you love to have facts in front of you before you're going to make a decision. Or I use my imagination as much as possible. I am impatient with long, slow assignments. My mind never stops working. Key decisions have to be made in a cautious way, meaning you don't want to take action right away, you want to think, get data. I strongly believe that people need each other to get work done. I usually make decisions without thinking too much, or emotions create problems. I like to be liked by others, or I learn new things quickly. I try out my new ideas on people, meaning if you have an idea, you talk to your friends and your colleagues about them, or you try them out, or you believe in the scientific approach. You gather the data, you analyze. I like to get things done. Good relationships are essential, meaning very important. I make decisions quickly without thinking too much. I accept differences in people. Communicating with people is an end in itself, meaning that's good enough for me, that I'm communicating with them, I'm happy that it happened. Or I like to be intellectually stimulated, meaning I like it when people ask me challenging problems that I have to really put my mind to. I like to organize. I usually jump from one task to another. So you might do something for 15 minutes, and then you might go do something else for 45 minutes, and then you might come back to the first task, jumping around. Talking and working with people is a creative art, or I work to fulfill my potential, meaning that you have an image of yourself to make yourself better, a better worker. So you're constantly working harder and harder to make yourself a better worker. I enjoy playing with ideas. This means being in a group that likes to brainstorm, think of new ideas, or I dislike wasting my time. I enjoy doing what I'm good at. I learn by interacting with others. I enjoy imagining new ways to do things more effectively. So how can I make something a process that's already happening? How can I make it better? I am patient with details. I like brief, to the point statements. This means that you like people, when they express their ideas, that they don't go on and on and on. I feel confident in myself. Anything that somebody did not understand? Everybody was clear? Okay, now we get to do the fun part.